Welcome to the Explainer. We've all absolutely been there, right? You unbox a brand new smartphone and it just feels magical. It's lightning fast, apps snap open in the blink of an eye, and the battery easily powers you through a long day. But fast forward 2 years and wow, it's a completely different story. Suddenly, your phone stutters when you're just trying to fire off a quick text, apps take ages to load, and your battery is literally begging for a charger by lunchtime. It's a universal, totally frustrating experience. But why exactly does it happen?
Let's dive right into this, because the burning question on everyone's mind when their device starts to lag is this. Is someone doing this to me on purpose? Are big tech companies secretly pressing a button in a control room somewhere to ruin your device, just so you're forced to buy a new one? Or is it simply a matter of unavoidable physics and digital wear and tear? Today, we're going to treat your sluggish smartphone like a valid mystery. We're going to separate the myths from the facts, look at the real engineering, and figure out exactly who or what is really to blame.
Section 1, Hardware, Batteries, and Throttling. To understand why hardware degrades over time, we first got to look at the chemistry of lithium-ion batteries and how we actually define a charge cycle. Now, we usually think a charge cycle means plugging a phone in at 0 and unplugging it at 100, but it's actually defined by the total capacity used. One full cycle equals exactly 100% of your battery's capacity being discharged. So if you use 50% of your battery today, top it off, and use 50% tomorrow, that combined usage equals one charge cycle. Those partial charges silently add up day after day, chemically aging the battery inside your phone. And the physical toll of all those accumulated cycles is just a harsh reality of lithium-ion technology. After roughly 500 charge cycles, which for most of us hits right around that 2-year mark, a smartphone battery typically loses about 20% of its total physical capacity. That 20% drop, that represents completely lost potential. Your battery can now only hold a maximum of 80% of the energy it could when it was fresh out of the box. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about your battery life getting shorter. It's about the actual power delivery getting noticeably weaker. So the absolutely crucial thing to remember is this exact number, 80%. This isn't just some arbitrary stat. It's a critical threshold for hardware health. In fact, if you poke around in your iOS settings and check your battery health, 80% is the exact point where Apple officially recommends getting a battery replacement. Because once your maximum capacity drops below this line, the battery struggles. It doesn't just struggle to hold a charge, but it struggles to push out the rapid, intense spikes of power that a modern processor demands to run smoothly. And that brings us to our first major culprit of a slow phone, thermal throttling. Think of your phone's processor like a marathon runner, and the battery is their heart. When the battery is degraded, it just can't safely deliver peak current anymore. It literally can't pump energy fast enough without risking a sudden shutdown. So to protect the battery and keep your phone from just dying in your hand, the processor automatically reduces its own speed. The chip is intentionally slowing itself down so it doesn't overtax that aging battery. Basically, your phone is lagging because it's actively pacing itself.
Section 2, Software, Storage, and Bloat. All right, let's switch gears and talk about storage. Imagine your phone's memory is like a beautifully organized, completely empty walk-in closet when you first buy it. Finding and putting away a file is practically instantaneous. But over 2 years, that closet gets completely stuffed with thousands of photos, massive videos, and tons of hidden cache data. This leads to something called storage fragmentation. Because the drive is mostly full, the phone can't save a new file in one neat, continuous block anymore. It has to scatter the data into tiny, fragmented open spaces all across the storage drive. So when you try to open an app or load a video, your phone has to run all over that messy digital closet to find all the pieces, which drastically slows down your read and write speeds.
Now, the severity of this slowdown actually depends heavily on the specific parts inside your device. Cheaper phones usually use a slower type of storage called eMMC, which degrades much more noticeably over time. Premium phones, on the other hand, use faster chips like UFS or NVMe, and those handle fragmentation a lot better. But beyond storage, we also have RAM, your phone's short-term memory. Over 2 years, you accumulate dozens of apps that run hidden background processes, constantly chewing up your RAM and CPU. Whether you're on iOS or Android, the result is the same. Older devices with less RAM are forced to aggressively swap data in and out of memory. And that right there is what causes that frustrating, stuttering lag when you're just trying to switch between apps.
Another silent performance killer in all of this is app bloat. We almost always blame our phones for getting slower, but we totally forget that the apps we use every day are getting so much heavier.
The Instagram app you downloaded back in 2018 was relatively light, but the Instagram app today, it is massive. It's packed with high-definition video rendering, complex algorithms, and intense tracking features. It requires significantly more processing power and memory just to launch. Your older processor is basically trying to lift weights that have doubled in size since the day you bought the phone.
So, the crucial point on the software side is this tricky dynamic between old hardware and new updates. Every year, you get that shiny notification to download the latest operating system, like iOS 18 or the newest flavor of Android. It feels like a free upgrade. But those updates are highly optimized for the brand new devices hitting the market right now. Running modern, feature-heavy software on 3-year-old hardware literally forces older chips to handle intensive graphical and background tasks they were never originally designed for. It's kind of like putting the engine of a modern sports car into a 10-year-old chassis. The system just can't keep up.
Section 3. The Apple Throttling Controversy. Back in late 2017, independent researchers and users started providing some pretty hard evidence that older iPhones were running significantly slower than normal. By December of that year, Apple officially admitted that they were, in fact, using software updates to intentionally slow down older phones with degraded batteries. Now, Apple framed this entirely as a protective measure to prevent unexpected shutdowns, which is exactly the thermal throttling we were just talking about. However, the public backlash was absolutely fierce. Critics and everyday consumers widely alleged that this was planned obsolescence, a deliberate attempt to frustrate users into upgrading to the newest iPhone model. To address this massive public outcry, Apple instituted a sweeping apology program, and it highlighted a very specific number. For a full year, they offered drastically discounted battery replacements for just $29. And this was a huge deal, because it proved to millions of consumers that a slow, lagging, stuttering phone wasn't actually completely dead. A simple, cheap battery replacement could instantly restore the phone to its original, out-of-the-box, peak performance speeds. That single throttling controversy rippled outwards in a really massive way. It didn't just change Apple's battery policies. It poured rocket fuel all over the broader right-to-repair movement. It sparked intense ongoing debates about consumer rights. Because think about it. If a degraded battery is the primary reason a perfectly good phone becomes unusable, why are these devices glued shut in the first place? How easy should it be for you to just pop open the back and replace the battery yourself, rather than relying on expensive manufacturer services or finding a third-party repair shop?
Section 4. How to speed things up.
All right. Enough investigating the problem. It is time to take control back. Here are 4 empowering, highly concrete steps you can take right now to revive an aging smartphone. Number 1, get a new battery. If you're past that 500 charge cycle mark, dropping in a fresh battery will instantly stop thermal throttling, period. Number 2, clear out your digital closet. Delete those old videos and massive apps to free up storage space and fix that fragmentation issue. Number 3, go into your settings and disable background app refresh. Stop those bloated apps from silently draining your RAM and CPU when you aren't even looking at them. And finally, number 4, if all else fails, perform a complete factory reset. This wipes the slate clean, clearing out years of cached junk and giving your operating system a fresh start. And hey, don't forget about the tools that are already sitting right there inside your device. Manufacturers have definitely learned from the past, and they now include built-in software designed to help you out. Take advantage of features like Android's adaptive battery or Apple's optimized battery charging. These are incredibly intelligent tools that literally learn your daily usage habits to better manage power delivery, limit those pesky background tasks, and ultimately slow down the physical degradation of the battery cell itself. It essentially buys you more time before the hardware actually starts to struggle. Which brings us to this final thought. Understand the tech in your pocket. Don't just use it. The devices we rely on every single day have fascinating, highly complex, and sometimes incredibly frustrating hidden lives. Your phone isn't just magically slowing down to annoy you. It's a constant battleground of chemistry, software evolution, and memory management. By understanding these invisible forces, you can take back control, save yourself some money, and keep your tech running beautifully. So I'll leave you with this. The next time your screen stutters, ask yourself, is your phone actually dying, or is it just desperately waiting for you to give it a little maintenance? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the everyday technology that shapes our world. Until next time.